system. How you doing?
Getting beat up by 9 guys in Syracuse, to me, there's not a whole lot of shame in.
This is the Heel to the Face podcast with your hosts, Jared Wicks and Brandon Icebreaker Clements. Tweet us using the handle at Heel to the Face.
Woo! 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 Woo!
The bell is rung, so let's step in the ring with your hosts, Brandon and Jared.
Heel to Face podcast on the air. We're coming off Evolution. Coming up to Crown Jewel. If you can hear it in the studio, we didn't have our mics ready over here for Icebreaker 21. Myself, Jared. Just Jared Wicks. Follow the program.
I was just looking. I'm like, wait, there's not a microphone in my face. That was
Follow him over here, Icebreaker 21 on Twitter. Myself at K-Rock. Jared, and most importantly, follow the program at Heel to the Face. So without further ado, we got our mics in order. Let's get this week's edition of the show underway. Momentarily.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
With a 20-minute time limit.
So I'll start by asking you this, Brandon. What did you make of Evolution on Sunday night?
it was okay. I don't think it was like the most groundbreaking, show I've ever seen in my life. I thought it was okay. I would say it was better than like Backlash.
Yeah, I would probably say it was better than that, and I would also say I liked that it started around 7 o'clock, but they didn't push it till midnight. It was about 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was like 3 hours and 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah,
it was not long.
Yeah, so essentially, I like that they starting at 7 and then kind of ending early instead of
Trying to stretch it till 11 or 12.
Yeah, meaning this could have essentially started at 8 and then ended at 11:15, but they did the other way around where they ended a little early. And probably part of the reason for that, and I know an hour doesn't make much of a difference, but this wasn't an event on the traditional travel schedule,
No.
because the guys aren't involved. So the guys were probably, a lot of them at least, who weren't at the show watching it, were probably at house shows in other cities.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of those women had to be wherever Raw was the next night, which was in Charlotte, North Carolina. So it wasn't like they were going from this pay-per-view in the New York City area to, Newark, New Jersey, or Philadelphia the next night.
Yeah, it's not like it was a short drive or short trip.
Yeah, because the guys were probably doing house shows in North Carolina over the weekend before the Monday Night Raw in Charlotte. These guys had like a separate show, kind of what the men are doing in Saudi Arabia, where they were in Charlotte on Monday. I don't know where they'll be on this Monday, but either way, they've got Saudi Arabia in between, so it's not like they'll be driving down the traditional travel route. I thought it was an okay event. I brought it up to your attention on Sunday night during the event. Very house show looking.
Yeah, I liked it though. I think it was a nice change. I know obviously it's a big change with the all women's pay-per-view, but I thought it was nice. You got the and I know you noticed it very well. There wasn't like the special board on the ring underneath, where the ring is.
Everything was basic. There was not the traditional, not the WWE professional barricades, the house show lighting.
It was a cool feel. I personally liked it. I thought going in it wasn't going to be that great. So like my expectations were kind of low at that point. I thought it was, like I said, I thought it was halfway
Michael
decent.
Cole kept saying sold out, and I'm not exactly saying he's a liar, but when they had all the lights on prior to the show, there was a lot of empty seats, like during the kickoff show.
Yeah, but
I mean a lot of empty seats.
I think he may have exaggerated just a little bit. I mean, they usually do, but a lot of people arrive late. You know how that is.
And tickets on StubHub for this event were the cheapest tickets I have ever seen for a pay-per-view event in my life.
How much was it?
Well, I mean, I saw $6 for the get-in.
Wow.
So $6 for the get-in. And you know what? I'm not saying entirely, but did they even, where did they fill up all the way around? Meaning, I've been to like Armageddon before, and I want to say I went to a Great American Bash years ago in Buffalo, where they tarped off like half the arena. So, where the camera was showed, that was the only place they sold.
They would literally make it look
well,
like
I went to SmackDown in Rochester, the same idea. It was only one side. The other side was completely empty.
Yeah,
unsold.
Where the camera people are.
Yeah.
Where it's like
so maybe
maybe
it was sold out in that regard, but either way, like I said, $6 for the get in, and it didn't seem like they were horrible seats, and there were some floor seats at a pay-per-view event. Now I went to Monday Night Raw this past May, and I got some floor seats for about $75, and I thought that was a great deal. Got them the day they went on sale. Just the idea of sitting on the floor for $75 at a
cool.
television show.
Yeah.
About 15 minutes for the show, $39 could get you a floor seat for this.
Man, you
Not ringside, not where Brock
but
Lesnar
still.
guy's sitting and that, but $39 for somewhere on the floor for a pay-per-view event.
hey, I'm in.
Like I
$40
said,
bucks.
$6 to get in. I want to say it was like in the 25 range for like a lower level seat.
Halfway deep, like average seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, $40.
So essentially SmackDown prices.
What did I say last week? Did I say $50 for ringside? I think I said 50.
I forgot what the price we were talking. I remember.
I think it was 50.
But I think I wanted to say like 200 something for like front row on TV the whole time, which for any pay-per-view event would be a steal.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, hey, I think I said 50 last week, so $40. I guess that means in that case, if I was close by, I probably would have gone. Which I probably would have gone if I was in the area. I have one of my buddies down that way. He was there for he works at a local radio station down there. He went as an employee, but he also went as a fan too. So he
went to Evolution.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It wasn't the gentleman who used to work here, was it?
No.
Okay.
No, we went to school together up at Oswego.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's from down there. He actually works with Ashley Massaro. Remember her from back in the?
I do. She is a DJ now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a DJ at the Shark. Hopefully, I got that right, but I think it's the Shark down in Long Island, down that way. It was funny. He sent me. We were texting one night, and he sent me a picture of him and Ashley. I'm like, cool, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think he's like a producer or something down there. Something kind of like what
I would
what
have
we do.
probably went if it was closer to the New Jersey side. The fact that it was on Long Island really pushed it.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a haul for me.
Yeah, because it's a good 45 minutes to get just back to New York City, and then the drive from New York City. Now, if it was on the New Jersey side, when Backlash was in New Jersey, that was a quick drive. That was pushing a little bit further than what would be Buffalo from Syracuse to go.
So like what, like 3 hours?
About 3 hours and 25 minutes.
So 3.5. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not awful.
So that was the return from Newark, which is close to where MetLife Stadium is, where the Giants, Jets play, that whole thing. So, and you don't deal with any of the New York City traffic because you're on this side of the city.
Which isn't bad.
So you're on this side of the city, you hop on the highway, and you're already out of the city.
You're gone.
Being in Long Island, you have to go back through New York City. You drive 40 minutes into New York City,
and then
you have to go through the city and out the other end.
Yeah, that's tough.
So that's why I didn't want to push going to this event, because it was on Long Island.
I mean, if it was more of, I would maybe do it if it was like a WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Type of thing.
Well,
I
if
know
it was WrestleMania, I would have taken the next day off. It wouldn't have been a big deal at all.
Yeah, you just
Stuff like that.
whatever. I mean, for Evolution,
Yeah.
I mean, I would have gone if it was maybe a little bit closer. It wasn't a bad show. I enjoyed it. I thought it was halfway decent. I have to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised by the Rousey Bella match.
I was pleasantly surprised by that as well. Nikki Bella put on a better match than I thought she definitely would.
And Ronda looks great anyway.
You have to put on something, though, because it's your main event.
Well, I heard I was reading some stuff online. I heard they were really before they were, obviously they rehearse, but I think they took the extra step to make sure they were completely ready to go. I think WWE can maybe push that too, to make sure, yeah, you guys are the headline of this, this groundbreaking event. Let's make sure we have our game.
Charlotte Becky put on a great match.
Yeah, that was a good match. That was a long match too.
Well, again, you have this pay-per-view didn't have a whole ton of matches. So you had to really kind of milk a few things. I was
disappointed I couldn't see Alexa Bliss in the ring. That was kind of I know it was a last minute thing. But I still say it was an all right match. I think Lita and Trish can still go. I thought they looked good. I don't know. What did you think? I thought they both
did what they needed to do.
Yeah, I thought they could. I wouldn't expect them to be full-time competitors by any means, but if they need to come in and fill in and do some matches here and there, I think they can still do it once in a while.
So moving out of Evolution now, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, we're getting into Crown Jewel this upcoming weekend. Maybe I'll have this video posted in time for Crown Jewel, but probably not, so let's just assume I won't. Let's just talk about Crown Jewel from a perspective of, we got Daniel Bryan deciding he doesn't want to now go. So he's on SmackDown against AJ Styles for the championship. Now it's going to be Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles at Crown Jewel. John Cena getting replaced last minute because he doesn't want to go to Crown Jewel. So
yeah, I'm not surprised by the moves. I guess
I'm surprised the last minute by the moves. That these weren't things that were talked about and discussed ahead of time.
On that, to your point, yes. Last minuteness, maybe not ideal. But I will say, especially, I mean, I wouldn't even say one over the other. Like a better situation. I think the way they did the Daniel Bryan thing, I thought they did that well. It made for a better match it hyped up SmackDown a little bit more. I thought it was a better show overall, and it didn't make it look like. I mean, we all know as wrestling fans why they did the way they did, like what they did, because Daniel Bryan clearly said he wasn't going to go. But if you're kind of an average fan, you're like, oh, okay, Daniel Bryan was on SmackDown. It wasn't like, oh, there's some other reasons behind not going to the show on Friday. Like, I thought they handled that well. I think the same thing with Bobby Lashley. I would say that was a little bit. I would say the Daniel Bryan situation is a little bit better than how they played it out storyline wise. I think that was the better way. They just kind of threw Bobby Lashley in. Baron Corbin's like, yeah, all right, you're in. You did a great job.
You didn't do anything to deserve to be in, so why don't we just put Bobby Lashley in?
It was kind of simple. I mean, I get it. I was surprised that more superstars weren't in the John Cena, Daniel Bryan camp. Honestly, I felt like if enough of the big superstars would have said, "Nah, I'm not going," I don't think they would have done the show. And in all honesty, they're not gonna put something together like last second. If more of the big names, like if Randy Orton said, "Nah, I'm not going," if Bobby Lashley says, "Nah, I'm not going," AJ Styles, "Nah, I'm not going," I think if you got a couple more of those bigger names that said, "Nah, I'm not going," I think they would have nixed it. Honestly,
do you think any matches at Crown Jewel have an opportunity to be really good matches, or are they all just going to be pretty plain?
Yeah, I think they'll be plain.
Kind of like what we saw the first, not Crown Jewel, Greatest Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think
we didn't see any 30-minute Iron Man matches.
I'm not gonna. Here's the thing: I'm not gonna watch it live because I have to work. But I'll watch it. I'll watch it maybe that night or Saturday morning. I'm not gonna. I just won't look at Twitter and all that stuff. So I'll just kind of stay off because I do want to watch it I don't want to be surprised by anything. So I'm gonna watch it and get off of social media.
I mean, you want to be surprised?
Yeah, I want to be surprised.
Not that you don't want to be surprised.
Yeah, I don't like the stuff where I don't like looking at spoilers. I don't like doing that, especially if it's it's still going to be a big event. It's still pay-per-view. I still want to not expect it. Like I do the same thing with like NXT. Like if I can't watch it Saturday night for whatever reason, I'll try to watch it Sunday morning and just not look at social media, which is hard.
Do you think
Lesnar's
going to leave with the belt, or is it Braun Strowman? I'm thinking, and with Roman Reigns as champion, I would have said probably Roman Reigns. But now, I'm leaning towards Brock Lesnar, and this isn't wanting Brock Lesnar. This is leaning towards Brock Lesnar because of the fact that him as a champion, the good thing about him being as champion is that he's not there. So if you give him the belt, that gives you some time to think about where you want to go with the belt.
That point, yes, I agree
with
Braun
Strowman, you got to start thinking, all right, then who's he going to face next? He's going to be at Survivor Series. Who's on the list?
Yes.
With Brock Lesnar, you give him the belt, and then you kind of keep things going the way they were supposed to be going.
I get what you're saying there. But I think enough people in WWE, not even talking about the fans, just like the management side, the creative and all that. I think they knew more about the Roman Reigns stuff than we all did. I think they were keeping it under wraps. I think certain people, I'm sure Vince knew ahead of time, and I think and I think they did the right thing. Obviously pulling Roman Reigns from competition, but I think they knew in enough advance where they can come up with something. Regardless of who wins, whether it's Brock or whether it's Braun, I think if you're going to do the right thing, I think you put Braun as a champion. I think it's fitting that you do that. I mean, look what they did with. I mean, this is obviously completely different circumstances, but I mean, they're both like Finn Balor was out because of his injury. Obviously Roman's battling a very serious illness, but they're both. They were at that, at that time, Finn was out of competition for a while, so he had to leave and relinquish the title. And look who comes in and takes the title, Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. You put it on somebody like that, so it would. And I will say this: I think Braun's ready. I really do. I think Braun is ready. He's going to have to be ready. I think they're gonna throw it on him. I really do. I think so.
There's lots of rumors that it's going to be Braun versus Drew McIntyre in the future.
I think that's great.
Future.
I think that's great.
Are you okay with that being for the belt?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think Drew's proved himself as a commodity, a main event commodity. So I think at this juncture, I think he's ready. I would say this: if it's going to be Braun versus Drew for the title, I don't see Drew taking the title. I don't want to put the title on Drew yet, but I think if he's contending for the title at this point, I'm completely fine with it. I mean, how he's done, how he's interacted. I mean, he looks like the one of the alpha dogs on the Raw roster right now.
Do you think AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe is going to be any good, or is that going to be exactly just?
It's going to be the same stuff. It's the same. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's the worst thing I've ever seen. I just think it's been played out. It's not like, first time ever. I mean, I love when they did first time ever, and then you got to make sure you put WWE because obviously they've battled in other organizations over the years. So it'll still be halfway decent. I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking. I think if there's fans out there who think this is going to be one of the greatest matches of all time, you're sorely mistaken. It's going to be an okay match. It's a good filler, like you said, good filler. I'm obviously going to watch it. It's not going to be groundbreaking. I don't see anything. I don't see a title changing.
Who do you think is going to win this Crown Jewel World Cup?
There's a lot of good competitors in that.
I'm going to go Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Actually, I think Kurt Angle will be a good choice. We normally don't agree on these things, but I think Kurt Angle's the right choice. I think he's still got a little run left in him. I think he's got kind of like a Goldberg kind of run in him. Now, I wouldn't say maybe for the title, but maybe just to have a nice run. Have some good matches. I think he can. He might even take it a step further than Goldberg. Honestly,
do you find this event that it's going to be shorter than the Greatest Royal Rumble? Do you think it's going to be more traditional pay-per-view length?
Yes, I do. I don't think it's going to go that. I don't think it's going to go super long.
Like 6 hours?
Yeah, I would say I think it's more towards. I would say like 4, maybe
traditional
4.5.
regular pay-per-view length.
It may go a little over 4
because the tournament will be 7 matches by itself. Yeah. Then we got the 2 title matches. DX, so that's 7, 8, 9, that's 10.
Let's be honest. How long do we think that DX Brothers versus Brothers of Destruction match is going to be? I think that's. I would say this. You'll be lucky. You'll probably get 20 minutes, but most of it's music entrance. Yeah. Because you know how that is. Undertaker matches, his entrance is usually longer than his promos and his matches. I'm just saying.
So I think there's a total. The tag team titles are on the line, if I'm not mistaken, right? Both of them, just the one. Well, no, not both of them, because Seth and Dean are the ones. So just SmackDown.
Yeah, just SmackDown.
The Bar versus New Day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I'm not feeling it.
So it's 11 matches that I have in front of me for this upcoming event. Now, Survivor Series, we have Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. No titles on the line. Does that interest you when no titles are on the line like that? And they do this like once a year where it's like champ versus champ, and it's just for pride.
I would like it more if there was titles on the line. Here's what I will say though, with the whole Fox deal coming down the pipe here, everything that I've read is suggesting they're going to bring the brands back together. So I could see them. This is what I would have envisioned. Maybe they bring the brands back together, and then make some of these titles more like unified. Remember how like back in the day it was like the Undisputed Championship. Mm-hmm. Maybe something like that where you.
Well, they did that. Remember they not just back in the day, but remember Randy Orton versus John Cena met in a ladder match at TLC. What year is this now? 2014. The titles came back together.
Oof. That was a couple years. Yeah, that was a few years ago. I'm trying to remember now.
I think it's 2014 because I'm not mistaken. The championship. Well, what year was WrestleMania 30?
WrestleMania 30 was
2014.
14, yeah.
So it had to be 2013 they brought the titles back together because obviously Dan O'Brien went off the air at WrestleMania 30 with both belts.
Yes, that is true. Yes, I do. Yeah, because it was Yeselmania.
Yes, and he had both belts in his hand.
Yes.
As the night went off.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I went to WrestleMania 29 when there were 2 separate championships. I think Alberto Del Rio was one of the champions.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, it was Alberto versus Jack Swagger for one of the belts.
That was.
And then the main event was John Cena versus The Rock for the other belt.
So
it must have been 2013 at that December pay-per-view. The belt.
How excited were you about Del Rio and Swagger?
I wasn't. There was. I feel right now the 2 belts at least have some importance. There was a time for almost the entire duration of the 2 belts where one of those belts was like less than the Intercontinental belt.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the Intercontinental Championship, especially when The Miz has it in particular, sometimes I feel like that's more important than the heavyweight championship, so to speak.
Well, like the main event of the WrestleMania 29 I went to, Rock John Cena, that was for one of the belts. The other belt, like I said, was Alberto Del Rio, Jack Swagger.
It's not.
Sheamus. I want to say the year WrestleMania 28.
So it wasn't
Sheamus.
that great.
It was Daniel Bryan holding the belt, but this was Daniel Bryan before WrestleMania 30, 2 years before WrestleMania 30, when he lost in 17 seconds to Sheamus in the opening match of the card.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so that belt, there's always a time when one of the belts was just absolute garbage.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely that sounds about right for the timeline.
Yeah.
And that happens though. I mean that I've seen. I mean we've gone through ebbs and flows of I sometimes feel like the Intercontinental Championship is more valued than maybe the Universal or the the SmackDown Championship.
I think since they've separated it recently, they've had better champions.
Yeah, I
individual.
would say it's more even right now. I mean, I would say that. I mean, we'll say before Roman was, he had to step away. Roman on Raw, AJ on SmackDown. Cool. I'm good with that.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm trying like WrestleMania. We're talking like WrestleMania 27. I want to say it kicked off the show as Alberto Del Rio versus Edge. Edge won the belt and then had to relinquish it. Tuesday on SmackDown?
I will say this though.
Because he got the career-ending injury right after he won the belt against Del Rio at WrestleMania. I mean,
that sucked. By the way, I wish Edge was still wrestling, and I remember that shot that Becky took at him. That was nice. That was a subtle shot at Edge about his neck. I'm like, geez, that's not very nice. But I mean, that's her character right now, which I do like a feisty Becky Lynch. I really do. I think this is perfect for her character. The fans seem to like it more than they were cheering her at Evolution, more than they were.
It was a good match, and I was very surprised.
Charlotte.
All championships defended.
Yeah, I was expecting some change. That's what I thought. Oh, by the way, not to go too far away from Evolution. We were right though. We came down on the wire on that the Battle Royal there. I said Ember, you said Nia. We were right there at the end there, 1-2.
So it looks like Nia will probably take the belt or go for the belt at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs in December. I think that's next on the list for her.
I think Ronda's going to have the title for a while.
I think she's going to have the belt until WrestleMania, and I see Ronda versus Charlotte at WrestleMania.
And you see Charlotte winning?
I don't know who I'm seeing winning. I'm just saying I see that as your women's.
I know we got like 6 months, but
yeah, I got that as your match. Well, tickets for WrestleMania do go on sale in about 2 weeks. Will you be getting your tickets for WrestleMania this year, November 16th?
Well, I kind of have a big event coming up pretty soon, so
it's not that big of an event.
Yeah, it is.
It's not. You can scrounge $100 and some gas money.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me talk over the boss at home first.
All right. We're not starting things again. We're ending things here. Let's. we're. There we go. There's the horn.
There's the horn.
But I think we had the same problem last week, and I think the bell would work on both ends. So I think we could have just kept with the bell.
Yeah, we could have kept the bell because it signals the start of a match and the end of a match.
Yeah, so either way, Icebreaker21 on Twitter. That's where you'll find it. Myself, Jared, just Jared Wicks. We don't have a social media SmackDown segment this week, so enjoy Crown Jewel, and we will be back next week to talk Crown Jewel and Raw and SmackDown that happened leading up to Survivor Series in Los Angeles in a couple weeks. But coming off a pay-per-view, going into a pay-per-view, we'll have a little lull through the month of November between then. So enjoy Crown Jewel. Hopefully it's not too long. Hopefully it is a little bit entertaining and everybody comes back alive and safe.
And we'll break it down next week.
And it's not as controversial as it's been leading up to be.
Yes. And I will say this, enjoy the show, and we will definitely make sure to tune in next week and catch it, and we'll break it down.
Icebreaker21 on Twitter. Myself at KRock Jared. Follow the program at Heel to the Face on Twitter. Adios.